So we are going to stay here in California, just talking about the Branch brothers from USC there, as Jaron Sagapolotele is headed to Cal. And we talked about this situation last week. This was a top 10 national quarterback recruit in this recruiting cycle who had just signed with Oregon a few weeks back, was previously committed to Cal, and then flipped to Oregon. So this isn't an AI photo here. We didn't have to use that technology. Even though it's at Cal, I know they have all that stuff out there, but he was committed there, right? So he had a lot of familiarity with the program. Oregon, Keawe Smith Jr. in the class over there, and I think it was a pretty obvious decision in terms of a clear path. With Fernando Mendoza gone, you have a new offensive staff, some new coaches over there. Nick Rolovich, formerly at Washington State, is the head coach, coming in as an offensive assistant. Really good track record from him. So this is an interesting situation from a very, very talented thrower of the football from Hawaii.
Yeah, I love this move for all parties involved, especially Cal. This was a cool season for Cal. I was there for the Miami game, College Game Day. It was an awesome atmosphere, really, really just unique vibe out there. The fan base, the Calgorithm had so much fun, and so much of that was driven by Fernando Mendoza, who was one of the better young quarterbacks in the country. Of course, he moves on. He takes the Mendoza burrito, which they were serving in California, with him. Maybe they'll do a new burrito here with a Hawaiian flavor, maybe some poke for Sagapolotele. But man, this team needed to move on quickly from to an elite high school quarterback, the number 8 quarterback in the nation, in a class, that I feel is one of the best high school classes of quarterbacks that I have ever seen, at least coming out. So for this guy to be a number 8 quarterback in the country in this class is outstanding. From Ua Beach, Hawaii, 6'2", 217. He's almost like Tua on steroids, right? Left-handed quarterback from Hawaii. But this guy's got more size than Tua, more arm strength, and he is the number 1 leading passer in the history of the state of Hawaii, beating Dylan Gabriel's record. So again, Tua on steroids. Not saying he's going to have that kind of career, but just in certain respects, you see that. There's been rumors of why he went from Cal to Oregon in the first place. That was a bit of a shocker there on signing day. He gets to Oregon. He's actually practicing with the team, or he's with the team. You got a Keawe Smith Jr., son of an Oregon legend, already in your same class. Dante Moore, the 5-star who transferred from UCLA to Oregon, looks like he's the heir apparent at quarterback. Looks like he just said, listen, this is not a clear situation for me to play. Cal, with Mendoza moving on, is wide open. I can go there and start in the ACC day one. Kind of take my lumps, earn my stripes early, speed up the development process. This is a guy with one of the strongest arms in America, finished in the top 11 for the Elite 11 camp. And Pete, I know you talk to scouts from your time as an agent. You keep in touch with a lot of guys. Nick Rolovich is someone with an impeccable reputation as a quarterback developer.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had the situation at Washington State, which he during COVID, which I believe he refused to take the vaccine, and pretty much had to step away, was fired because of that. And I think this is a situation where his influence could play big dividends. We're still seeing years later the quarterbacks coming out of Washington State. A lot of the coaches there were connected to Rolovich, and his staff. So I think this is a great fit for him. You see the arm. You see some of these throws off of one leg there, kind of floating backward, just flicking it. So Cal, look, it's a different situation. You're losing a lot. Mendoza's not there, obviously, but you're losing some talent around that. The offensive line was not very good last year, but it's a real clean slate, like you said, for him to be able to come in here, potentially win this job. And experience is such a big thing, as we've seen, D, for these quarterbacks, especially early in their career, I think they could set up a nice situation for him, and win some games early out there. He's got the talent to do it.
100%. And look, you got to get this guy some help, right? You look at Cal last year. Cal did not have the most dynamic receiving core last year, but you lose a Mikey Matthews to UCLA, right? You lose an Isaiah Hunter to Nebraska. I don't see anybody coming in right now that is going to replace those guys. So that's where you get to work. You got the 5-star quarterback. He is your future. He could be the face of the program. He could be what Aaron Rodgers was for you as far as elevating your program to a level they weren't at. So you need to help this young man, get him some receivers, improve that offensive line, which is one of the reasons probably why Mendoza stepped out, and build around him. I know, look, Wilcox is a defensive coach. Cal was a defensive team this year, aside from Mendoza and what he brought. You do get back, Jaden Ott, which is huge, especially if he gets healthier and gets back to his 2023 form. But get this guy some help at the offensive line and the receiver position, because you're a whole team. It's almost like Dylan Raiola in Nebraska. This is your program right now for the foreseeable future. Make sure you can build around him so you have him for 3 years, then he goes to the pros. That's a perfect scenario for Cal. And you have a chance to do it now because you have the most important part in the fold.